guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a book haul. I haven't done a book haul in a while. In fact, I don't even really remember what books were in my last book haul. So I just gathered a bunch of books that I've, accumulated recently, and I'm going to share with you guys like why I bought them, where I bought them, and all that kind of thing. Maybe you guys can find some new books that you kind of want to read. I don't know. I actually got some books online recently and I was really impatient and I decided not to wait until those books come, so those will have to be in my next book haul, but that's fine. So the first couple books that I bought, I actually talked about in my last video, but I want to talk about them again because these books are really good and I just think that you guys should read them. It is Between Wrath and Mercy. Between Wrath and Mercy and Between Despair and Hope. These are by Jessica Wisecup, and these are like a fantasy romance, and it's a like 37-year-old main character, I believe, so an older main character with a child, and it's steamy and it's super romantic, and it's just such a good series if you're looking for something that is like romantic but for like an older age range. This is absolutely amazing. Like I said, it has very similar vibes to A Court of Thorns and Roses, so if you really like that series, then you'll probably like this as well. So I have the first two. This is the first one, this is the second one, and she's working on the third one right now. I believe this is only going to be a 3-book series, but I picked these up on Amazon and I love them so much. They're so good. So the next book that I picked up was King of Battle and Blood, and this is by Scarlett St. Clair, and Scarlett St. Clair wrote, what is that series called? I read it, Touch of Darkness. And I read the first 2 books of that series, and I didn't hate that series, but it wasn't like my favorite series of all time. I liked it enough to try out other books of hers. So this one is about a girl named Isolde? Isolde? Is that how you pronounce that name? Isolde? But she has to marry the vampire king, and she hates him. And what she wants to do is marry him to save her kingdom, but then kill him. But she ends up not being successful in her assassination of this vampire king, and so he says, if you try to betray me again, I'm going to turn you into an undead or something like that. She tries to find other ways to, assassinate him or betray him or whatever, and in that process, obviously, she's like, but why do I find him so sexy? So it's your typical like new adult fantasy romance, but I'm interested. Like when I'm in the mood for something like this that's like over the top, like I have it on my shelf now. So the next book I got was the second book. I don't actually know what the series is called, but I read The Spanish Love Deception earlier this year and I really liked it. And this is the second book, The American Roommate Experiment. So this is the main character, Catalina, Kat. That's her name, right? No, Lena. That's what she goes by, Lena. It's her friend from work and then her like brother that lives in Spain, and he needs to come to America and he needs a place to stay, I guess, and so he comes to stay with her. And if you guys read the first book, like she kind of thought he was hot, so they have to like share a space, so it's like forced proximity, I think. So I'm really excited about this. I really like the first book, and this one is good because it's not as long. Like I said, I felt like the Spanish Love Deception was just extremely unnecessarily long for a romance novel, and she did shorten up this one a little bit, which is good. The next book I picked up is Mexican Gothic. I got this at Goodwill for $4.99, and I want to read this in October, or like coming up soon, hopefully. If I don't read it this year, then maybe I'll wait until next October, because I have a few books that I actually want to read for like Halloween, fall time. But I've heard that this is kind of like a really spooky read, and that's what makes me want to read it. One of my goals this year was actually to read more horror, and I would say, well, I don't know. I don't know if I've been very good on that goal. I think I've read a couple of horrors, but I do think that this falls into the horror category. If you have read this, let me know what you guys think about it. I have heard like mixed reviews, if I'm being honest, but because this was kind of in the horror genre, I decided to pick it up and try it out anyways, just because I've been wanting to read a little bit more from that genre. So it says, masterful, a glorious, moody adventure, spooky, smart, and wry. What does wry mean? That is not a word that I hear very often. So powerful, I sometimes had to look away. Mexican Gothic plays all the classic Gothic tropes with deft confidence while weaving in a much more modern and visceral strain of horror. So I just think it sounds like really cool. I don't know. I'm excited for that one. The next book I got was another one of those just classic like new adult fantasy romances, and it is Neon Gods. So this is by Katie Robert, and this is, I think, Hades and Persephone, and it kind of deals with like, you know, Greek gods and stuff. So I'm excited about that. I love anything with Hades and Persephone or kind of like that trope. So I'm excited for this one. I've heard mixed things on this one as well, but I tend to like stuff like this usually, at least like it enough. Like it may not be like a 5-star read for me, but I do like these just for like when I'm in the mood for them, you know, like they don't have to be like these epic 5 stars or anything, but I just kind of like that like really scandalous romance type of thing, and that's totally what this is. So I'm curious to see if I'm gonna like this. I've heard it's like really steamy, which I have mixed feelings on that. One thing I actually didn't like about A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair was the second book was too steamy, and I don't like it when there's just like steamy scenes just to have them in there. Like they feel so kind of out of place and there's no like work up to them, and so you're just kind of like, okay, like I've read this already like 5 times, like let's move back to the plot a little bit. So if a book is too steamy and like obnoxiously steamy, I can tend to not like it. So I've heard that this leans into the extreme steam side, but I'm gonna try it and see what I think about it. But yeah, I've always just been kind of interested in this one for some reason, so we'll see. So the next book that I picked up was the second Lore Olympus. So I read this, oh, it was right the first time. I read the first one and I really liked it. I thought it was adorable, and I was really excited to read this second one, so I can't wait to read it. I haven't read it yet, and I've had this for a while. I just haven't found the time to read it, honestly. But I'm really excited. I really like this series, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. This is a webcomic, so it's already created. Like, you can go online and read this entire webcomic, but I've heard such amazing things about it. That's why I felt like I could buy this, because I've heard nothing but good things, for one, and for two, it is Hades and Persephone, which, like I said, I like, so I felt safe purchasing these in physical form. Normally, I do not buy graphic novels in physical form because they're so quick to read that I just feel like, and they're expensive, that I feel like it's just not worth buying them. I usually just get them from the library, but for some reason with these, I just felt like it was safe. And so far, I've been right, but I just have to read this one, and I'll let you guys know what I think. But yeah, I was really excited about that, because when the first one was over, I really wanted to read the second one, which, like I said, I could have done. I could have just gone online to read it, but I didn't. I wanted to read it in physical form. Don't ask me why. You know how you just make weird decisions sometimes? Yeah. So the next book I found at a thrift store, and this I saw and I was like, what? Like, how have I never heard of this book? This was $1 at just some random thrift store. And I saw it and I was like, I have to read that. So this is called My Lobotomy, and this is by Howard Dulley. He is a man who got a lobotomy, and when he was young, his stepmom basically thought he needed a lobotomy. And so she talked his dad into agreeing with her, and they brought him in for a lobotomy. And when he got older, like, he started having a lot of issues. Like, he was homeless and he struggled really bad with addiction. He said he didn't feel like there was like something wrong with him, but he felt like there was something off about him, and he couldn't figure out what it was. And so he finally decided, before his dad died, because his stepmom died, before his dad died, he decided that he wanted to learn more about his lobotomy and why he got it. Because he's like, I don't feel like I was a bad kid. Like, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't have any issues or problems. Like, why did my parents think that I needed a lobotomy? And he ended up like turning his life around, and he's like a bus driver and everything now, but he wanted to figure out like why he got that lobotomy. And I think it's kind of like the whole lobotomy scandal, I guess. So how lobotomies became a thing, and then kind of like his experience having one. And I think that's so fascinating. Like, we all know lobotomies happened, but like I don't actually know a lot about them. So I think this is going to be a very interesting thing, and I have a lot of thoughts about this. Which I'm not going to say because it could be a little controversial, but yeah, I just find this really interesting. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to read that book to see why his parents thought that he should get one, if they were brainwashed by the doctors, if, like, I don't know. I'm really curious about that one, so I'll let you guys know what I think about it. And then I saw this at my Goodwill for $3.99. This is Sawkill Girls. Now, I got this because sometimes I'm in the mood. Like, I'm not a huge YA reader anymore. I read them occasionally, but sometimes the reason I want to read a YA is because I want something quick and to the point, and I feel like YAs do tend to be like that a little bit. They're a little bit easier to read. The font is a little bit bigger usually, so you can kind of like work through them quickly, and sometimes I'm just in the mood for that, you know what I mean? And I've heard really, really good things about Sockhill Girls, and so if I'm gonna read, you know, a YA, I want it to be good, and I want to have good reviews. So this one I've heard is really good, and I do think it's on the horror side, which, like I said, I want to read more horror. And I've also heard this is similar to like Wilder Girls, but like better, which you guys know I didn't really like Wilder Girls, so maybe I will like this more. I don't know. So if you guys have read this, let me know what you guys thought of it. Like I said, I've heard great things about it, and so I'm really excited to read it, and I think this will be fun when I'm in the mood for something quick and kind of to the point, you know? So I'm excited about that one. And then my husband, he bought me this one for, I think, my birthday, I believe. And he goes to my local bookstore, and the bookstore owner guy knows me, and he kind of knows what books I like. And so my husband went in there and he's like, I need to get a book for my wife. She likes romance, she likes fantasy, like what should I buy her? And this is what the bookstore owner told him he should buy, which makes me wonder if the bookstore owner really knew what this book was about, because I don't think it really fits what my husband explained, but that's a whole other thing. But it's Book of Night by Holly Black. So I've heard extremely mixed things about this, mostly negative things. So that kind of sucks. But I'm going to try it anyways, and I'm going to see if I like it. The Cruel Prince trilogy wasn't my favorite series of all time. I feel like that series is marketed as a romance, but it's not really a romance. It's like a romance without romance. It's very heavily political, and I feel like that series didn't hit like I thought it was going to hit, right? It was still good. I think I gave most books like 3 to 4 stars, but yeah, it was just okay. So I'm going to be interested to try out another one of her books to see what I think about it, because yeah, I'm just curious. If you've read this, let me know what you guys thought, and if you really, really, really liked this, let me know why you really liked it. Like, I'd be really curious. Now, I don't know if this is going to be heavy romance or anything like that. Like, that's what my husband said I liked, but I don't think that that is what this is. But I think it's dark academia from what I understand. I don't know. I'm not even really too sure about it, but the cover is stunning. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this, if you did read it. I'd be very curious what you think. But I'm definitely going to read it, hopefully sometime soon. Hopefully. So anyways, guys, that is it for my book haul. Those are all the books that I've kind of picked up recently. Like I said, I ordered some books online recently, but they're not here yet, and I don't know when they're going to be here, so those will just have to be in my next book haul. But I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.